Hello, and welcome to the Play Anywhere podcast here on the Noob News Network YouTube channel. In just a moment, me and a buddy are going to go over and review and our thoughts of the recent Xbox Direct that just happened a few days ago. Most of the podcast will be audio for at least this first episode, but there will be clips and images throughout the episode, so please check those out and let us know your thoughts, not only about the episode, but what your thoughts are on the Xbox showcase that we just saw. Thank you.
But before we did that, I just thought maybe it'd be interesting to just kind of dive in a little bit of, I guess, kind of what got you into Xbox, because I know we're kind of more Xbox people, but I play other consoles, but maybe just if you want to give a little background, then I'll do the same and everything. Thought that was a good way to start,
Oh,
though.
okay. Sure. Yeah. I started gaming mostly on the Sega Genesis. Moved on to the N64. Then I got a PS2. I had all of the Nintendo handhelds, starting with the Game Boy Pocket, and after the PS2, I got an Xbox. I really liked the Xbox. Got Xbox Live. Um, the games on there I thought catered more to me at the time as a teenager with Halo 2 and Mech Assault. Um, Counter-Strike, I played a lot on my Xbox. Of course, I got the 360 when it came out.
Did you have
I
the Red Ring of Death? I
Yes,
remember. Yeah.
I got that. I remember really well. I got it the weekend that the Halo 3 came out, so it lasted me about 2 years
Yeah.
before it Red Winged, but that was really a really bad time to get it.
Yeah, I remember my cousin at the time, he got it one for like Christmas that year. I think it came out, or maybe it was a year after. I don't know. But he had it like immediately, so he didn't even get to enjoy it. So it was very, disappointing for him. But I know they like replaced it or and everything, but it's not a
Yeah,
good experience, especially on the holidays when you're.
they make it as painless as possible,
Mm.
so that's nice. Or they made it. It was almost 20 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel so old. Um, and then yeah, I guess you're kind of. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but yeah, I guess currently on the Xbox Series X, or I guess Xbox One, and then yeah, Xbox Series X. I'm assuming. Um,
Right. So, the 360 was a really long generation. I got a PS3. Um, I also got into PC gaming pretty hard in that generation, and I built my own PC.
oh,
Uh,
nice.
I'm A plus computer repair certified, so I've been able to do that for most of my life. But I did get an Xbox One kind of late in the gen. I got an Xbox One X when I got my own house, and that one, once I got that and I got my own house, I really kind of got really back into the Xbox ecosystem with Game Pass. Game Pass is really great for people on a budget even still today, especially if you have other people in the house that use it with you. You can kind of share games and share libraries, and it's very helpful.
Yeah, I feel like people take it for granted because when you're, especially if you're a little bit older, you're kind of like, hey, it used to cost like 60, $70 per game, and you don't even know if it was that good, depending on you
Right,
know you just had to take a chance sometimes because there wasn't as much media or videos about or even demos really as much as there is now. And then with Game Pass, there's so many ways to try different types of games that you would probably never buy normally.
right. There was
uh
also a lot less games available in the past. I feel like, we used to talk about droughts
yeah.
and for specific ecosystems, and now it's like everything is everywhere, so everybody kind of gets everything, and I think that's a great benefit of where we're at right now.
Yeah, I totally agree. My journey's pretty similar. A Sega kid as well. My first console was a Sega Genesis. Played
What
like
was
six
your
pack.
first game?
Yeah, I had the six pack, which I don't know if it was a pack-in game when my parents bought it for me or not, but it had like Sonic, the Hedgehog one. It had like Streets of Rage, Golden Axe. I think it was like Night or Shinobi. I can't remember the exact title of it. And then there was like this motorcycle racing game.
Oh,
Uh, Yeah, so I
Was it
played
like
that.
Road Rash?
Yes,
Did,
yes, that's what it was. Yep, yep,
wow. Was that all
yep.
on, that wasn't all on one cart.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, yeah, it was called Six and then dash PAK. And yeah, it
Wow.
had all six of those games on there. So I just played a ton of
I'm
that because
jealous.
yeah. Yeah, so and the crazy enough, my wife, she was a Sega kid too, and one of her like fondest memories is later in life. It wasn't on the original Sega, but we got it like one of those collections, and she like beat like Sonic 2, and we just stayed up all night. So it just, it's always fun kind of bonding over that. So I have a special
Yeah.
place in my
Yeah,
heart
that's
for,
great.
yeah, for Sega.
M- My
Um,
girlfriend's a big fan of Sonic, but the 3D Sonic games, so we kind of argue over those sometimes.
Yeah, honestly, I haven't really played. I mean, I guess I played, what was that one that came out on the GameCube? Like Sonic, is it Adventures 2? That had a
Yes,
really
I
good
think.
soundtrack where you're like, skating down like the concrete and everything.
Yeah.
Had a great opening. Um, and then kind of from Sega, had a Game Boy, so I got really into that's kind of my only really big Nintendo at the time, kind of thing. With Pokemon and stuff like that.
Do you have a regular Game Boy or a color or pocket?
Yeah, I had a pocket actually. So one of my family members like gave me like bought it for me for my birthday. It was like one of these relatives I never met before, and I was like really grateful that he did that. And the first kind of game I really played was like Pokemon Red, and it was like addicted to that, and it was
Right.
amazing. Um, Eventually, I got the color, and then but my favorite was probably the SP. In
Yes,
terms of
that's probably the best handheld ever.
yeah, and it's like you had the backlight, you didn't have to worry about like, having a lamp on or a flashlight when you're playing. And then there's just so many good games that came out on Game Boy Advance. Sometimes I still kind of miss like how, Nintendo always like kind of gardens everything off where you're like, you can't get this game on, it's like, I don't know, you have to
Right.
buy it over and over again. And
Well, they
I don't
used
know.
to have their hardware, and I guess they'd still have, specific features for the Switch too. I don't want to discount it, but their hardware used to be way more bespoke, so the games
Yeah.
were ta uh, tailored and catered more towards that hardware, like the handhelds.
Yeah. From there, I had a buddy who was really into PlayStation, so that was kind of really the only reason. I feel like this happens a lot, especially in that time period where you kind of play where your friends are sometimes.
Right,
And so I got a PlayStation. The cool thing about him is his dad was into computers, and he would get these games from like Japan that were like I think. I don't know how legal it was at the time, but pretty much like he would like rip the game, and there was a special like thing that you could buy that you would play this one disc and then you could load in like all these Japanese games. So I played like
right.
a ton of like Japanese Gundam fighting games
Oh
and all this
yeah.
kind um so those were a lot of fun. But I say when I really got into gaming, like, where I just played nonstop was with the original Xbox. And I kind of discovered it. A buddy of mine was playing Halo, and I was like, oh man, what is this? And then I saved up money, and then eventually bought it. And there was just so many good games like, the Halo 1 and 2, Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2,
Oh
Fable,
yes.
all the Fable games, Chronicles of Riddick, Jade Empire, and it's kind of crazy to think about, like, because a lot of people I think don't give the original Xbox a lot of respect. I mean, in my opinion, and it's just like, man, it had so many good games that people don't
Oh, it
realize.
really did.
You know, um,
Knights of the Republic was my first Xbox game.
yeah, that was a great one to start with because man, it's you're just like what, and that was really the first like I guess true RPG I ever played, which I know a lot of people. I guess you could count Pokemon, but not really. I don't really consider it like
I kind of
that.
feel like that's
Yeah,
probably the same for me too.
yeah.
I mean,
So
like
it was
you
just
played Zelda and Pokemon and stuff, but they're not exactly the same.
yeah. And what's crazy is you play a game like that back then, and it's all the voice acting, and you're like, man, they put so much quality into it.
Right.
you just kind of take that for granted because I feel like it took years for other game developers to kind of do that kind of same kind of thing with the
Yeah.
immersion and all that. I know the combat can be kind of hard to go back to now, but I feel like at the time it was a lot of fun, and I had a lot of fun with that game. I wish they would
Yeah.
remake it, or I know they've tried, but I don't know if it's actually going to happen. But
Well, they keep saying they're still making it, but I'm dubious on it.
yeah, yeah, it's kind of one of those things. I don't really believe it until it's actually coming out, you know.
And my whole deal is if you haven't played it, I wouldn't be waiting for the
Yeah,
remake. I would go and play what's
yeah.
there now because it's totally amazing still.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It's probably one of the best stories in any game, in my opinion.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and then I kind of got out of gaming for a bit, but I ended up getting, I think, a PS3. I'm not even sure why. I was a big Xbox guy, but yeah, I got a PS3, and then my buddy, he was like, you really need to get it. Like, he actually just gave it to me. He's like, here, you can just have my Xbox One, and he told me about Game Pass, and
Oh,
this was several years ago, and I was like, yeah, man, yeah, sure. And then kind of never looked back. And I feel like even though they've increased prices, it's still a really good deal. And there's so many games, and you have to get it just for the first party exclusives anyway. Um, I know a lot of
yeah,
people
with
say,
how many
well,
they put out now.
yeah, it's kind of insane. There's like not enough time to play so many games,
Nope.
but it's awesome to have that ability to be able to, you know, to do it. So, but yeah, that's kind of like I said. I didn't want to take too long, but I felt like it was good to kind of say
But
where we're kind of coming from and everything. But you had a chance to check out the showcase. I'm assuming, correct? You've
yeah,
watched it
I
and everything.
actually watched it kind of one and a half, almost two times now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll sometimes go back. So kind of the first thing that we see is Forza Horizon 6, which for me personally, I'm not really big into car racing games. I like Mario Kart occasionally. I'm not sure. Are you big into, Forza,
Oh
or did that
yeah,
do anything for you?
yeah, Forza. I'm a pretty big Forza Horizon 6 or Forza Horizon fan. Um, I've played all of them. I may have not played the first one, but the second one I remember I was a huge fan of, and that's probably still my favorite one is Forza Horizon 2. I remember I did everything in that game. Three, four, five, I probably put days worth of time in. But two is probably my favorite.
The interesting thing I thought, as someone that's never really played, I don't think I've ever played a Forza game, honestly, but I like that the going to Japan, the aesthetic that it's going there. And then I thought it was very interesting at the very end, kind of the showpiece or whatever. It looked like there was like a mech suit almost walking in the
It's a
frame.
Gundam.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm just like, oh man. So it might be something I have to check out just for that. I don't know,
So yeah,
you know.
I kind of went crazy thinking that the DLC there might be a Gundam DLC thing coming out, but others are saying maybe like it's a showpiece race or something where you have to race a Gundam, and that would be cool too. But I would love to see, a whole, like yeah, maybe you're like racing on like a whole space station or something. That would be so cool.
Yeah, I'm a huge Gundam guy, and mech, anime person. So I was like, well, just for that, I might just have to, check it out and see what's about. And the graphics look great. It looked like there was a lot of customization, and then also all these different cars you can get for your garage. And
Yeah, it looks
I,
amazing.
yeah, and I'm sure for like fans like you that are like super into it, I'm really happy for y'all because it's like, oh man, it seems like everything you would want from the series and
Right.
everything.
So I'm not like a big sim racer person. I don't like Forza as much, but the Horizon series is so arcadey, and I love kart racing games, and I
Mhm.
love the Project Gotham racing series from way back on the
Yeah.
Xbox. It's very similar to that. I also feel like the rewind feature
Hmm.
makes these games very approachable to newcomers.
Okay.
Um, so I always recommend, if you haven't really played it, if you're kind of intimidated by it, the rewind feature makes it so every mistake is just a learning experience. You just hit the Y button, go back and retry the turn, and you learn really quickly how to drive the car.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's great. The only kind of really racing game I ever got into, Star Wars. What was it?
The pod
Racing, pod
racing?
race. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, those are
Um,
hard.
yeah, yeah, and then there was a game series. I can't remember what system I played it on, but I don't know if they even still make them. But they were called like Burnout, and you would like intentionally try to crash and
Oh
crash your
yeah.
car.
Yeah,
I
oh yeah,
really,
Burnout Takedown is a
yeah,
classic.
yeah, and that's
And
probably,
Paradise.
yeah, honestly, probably one of the last really racing games I got into. Honestly.
I think Burnout Paradise you can still get on Xbox if you're really looking to play that again. It's a fun game.
Oh, okay, nice, nice. Thanks. So after Forza Horizon 6, I believe we got Beast of Recarnation
Yes, Reincarnation.
launching in the summer of 2026. Um, this game looked really cool to me. It kind of gave me, I don't know if you ever played Horizon on PlayStation, but it kind of gave me a little bit of vibes like that. Gave me a little vibes of like almost like Studio
Yeah.
Ghibli, like you're kind of like these like how the creatures kind of looked, and it was like I don't know, it looked really interesting to me. What were some
Yeah,
of
I
your
think it
thoughts?
looks really cool. It seems like they're positioning this like the Expedition 33 kind of game of the year for them.
Yeah.
Um, it it reminds me more, and I don't play this series, but it kind of reminded me of Monster Hunter.
Oh yeah, I never played
Um,
Monster Hunter, but it did. I guess yeah, I could kind of see that, or like a Shadow of the Colossus, or like a
yeah,
kind of like you're going after these big beasts or
and
forest
there's
things,
probably
you know.
specific ways to take them out.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, the crazy thing, and I don't know much about Game Freak, but I just know they make Pokemon games that they're actually making this. I'm like, man, seems so like if you're like, hey, this was made by the same company that does the Pokemon games, you're like, whoa, that's kind of crazy, you know?
yeah, yeah. It
But
it's sort of kind of wonder. I feel like they creatively have been itching to do something like this
mm,
and to show really what they're capable of outside of what Nintendo kind of boxes them into.
yeah,
And I don't mean to say anything negative about that. Just, Pokemon is a certain thing and it has to look a certain way.
yeah.
Um, so it's really cool to see them be able to grow and do something that they really want to do and are passionate about.
Yep. So like I'm just looking at some more information on it. Yeah, real time, fast paced action. And then you also have like your animal companion. I believe it's pronounced Koo,
Yeah,
if I'm pronouncing
yeah.
it right. I always like
Emma.
yeah, I'm always a sucker for like games that have like this, like a cool companion that you can, do different things with. I feel like that's always kind of fun.
Yeah. It'll be
Um,
interesting to see how that integrates into the combat and maybe the traversal. I see the hair effects that they mentioned with the vines. It's really interesting how you're gonna be able to get around using that. They don't really detail it that much though. Um, I'm
yeah,
also curious, they have a pretty big skill tree they show, but it also looks kind of hack and slashy. I really do like the mixing of those types of games, and I'm curious to see how that feels because that's the most important thing is,
yeah.
how it feels to connect the hits and things. Um,
Yeah, because sometimes if it's just brute force button mashing, sometimes that can be okay for certain types of games. But then if it's just like, is it even kind of to your point of like you have this big skill tree, but is it actually does it mean anything? You know what I mean? Like, or
right,
does it matter? And I
right.
guess we'll kind of have to find out.
So I'm playing Visions of Mana right now, and the gameplay is really simple and there's not very much kinetic feeling to the combat, so it sort of becomes boring in a sense. Where I'm also just started Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is kind of similar in a lot of ways to how it's set up, but the combat feels way more kinetic, and I think that that's going to lend itself to being more playable in long periods.
Okay, yeah, yeah, for sure. I haven't gotten to check out the Final Fantasy remake. I've heard really good things. So,
Yeah, that's all
um,
I've been doing today.
yeah, yeah, awesome. So after Beast of Recarnation, I believe we got
Oh,
the oh yeah, go ahead. Yep.
so. one more thing I wanted to say about that, um, it felt a lot like a near automata too, in the worlds and the music especially.
Mhm.
Uh, it felt like it was trying to invoke the same vibes. The gameplay looked kind of similar. Our third-person action RPG.
Mhm.
Um, so it might be trying to do something very similar to Nier Automata, and I really love that game, so I'm here for more games like that.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it's awesome. It'll be on Game Pass. I think it's coming
Oh
to
yeah,
PC and PlayStation as well.
oh yeah.
So
Not on Switch too.
yeah, interesting. I don't know. I didn't see the Switch logo, or maybe I missed it, but I don't know if
I
it
didn't see
popped
it
up.
for any of the games, I don't think.
Yeah, so I wonder what's going on there. That's kind of
And you would
interesting.
think the next game we're going to talk about would be on it too, but I don't think it is.
Yeah, because that one seems a little bit lower res, I would say.
Right.
Not in a
Mo-
bad way, but just a different
Yeah.
style, more cartoon. So let's see. We got
Kiln.
Kiln. I was about, I was like, I'm gonna butcher it because like them saying it, I know how to say it, but I'm like, it's kind of a harder, I guess, word. But yeah, so from Double Fine, which I really like Psychonauts. I was a big Psychonauts fan on the original Xbox. I really enjoyed that game. Double Fine, I feel like, is one of those studios that's very creative, and you can kind of feel that in all their games.
Yes.
And this one kind of had an interesting premise. You build your own vase or vase, however you want to say it, and you kind of do these like combats. It kind of felt, I've never really played them, but it felt very like Splatoon type
Right.
of,
That's what I was thinking.
yeah, just how it looked and the like kind of gameplay of trying to put out everyone's forges or whatever, their fires and everything like that. So I am curious to see how well it'll do since it is like a 4-on-4,
Is that
co-op
what they
type
said?
game.
4 on 4?
Yeah, I'm looking at the notes here on Xbox Wire, and it says,
That makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah, 4-on-4 action. So I guess my concern sometimes with some of those games, I always get nervous because I'm like, it could be a really fun multiplayer game, but then if not enough people are playing it, they shut down the servers after a couple of years, and
Right.
you can never access the game. I hope it's like there might be some kind of single player component. I don't know if
Yeah,
there
I
will
hope
be.
hopefully it'll have an AI option. That's one reason, obviously, why it's on PlayStation is the
Yeah,
more players, the better. Um, I'm a pretty big fan of Double Fine, especially Tim Schafer.
yeah,
I did not play the first Psychonauts, but I did play the second one. I've played a handful of their point and click games. I think they're just wonderful. I think they're really underrated today
yeah,
too. I think they used to be more talked about, but they're still the same studio they were 25 years ago, and I think they deserve the same level of recognition.
yeah.
This
And
game, go ahead.
no, didn't mean to interrupt. I was just gonna say, yeah, it's good. I like that Xbox seems like they allow them to have that creativity as a studio, and they trust
Yeah,
them. I think maybe they don't make the games that make
I don't know when the last time was they put out two AA games in what 6 months. Oh, well, we don't know when this is coming out, but 6 to 8 months. I think that's pretty remarkable for what's probably what a team of under 100 people. I'm only guessing.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, because I don't know. I'm looking at the notes here. I don't know if it has. It just says spring
yeah,
2026.
spring.
So,
So I'm guessing April.
yeah, probably I would say that April timeframe if it doesn't get pushed. Which I'm I feel like most of the game probably is done. It's probably just testing.
It looks really good. When they first started showing, and I heard something about a game called Kiln, uh, you know, being the game they were going to show, and I'm like, is it really going to be like that phone game I played where I make a vase or vase, and it's like, oh yeah, that's half the game,
Yeah,
and the other half you get to destroy other people's vases. Like
yeah.
that's crazy.
The one thing that I really enjoyed about it too was the stages where it's like going through all these history events, like Greek and Egyptian, and I was like, oh, that's really cool because when
Oh
you think of
yeah,
like famous vases or something like in like a like in a museum or like in a movie about different historical events. You kind of like have that kind of picture of like what a vase
Yeah,
looks like, you
that's
know, and
really smart. Yeah, and my girlfriend loves those period mythological stuff, so
yeah.
I got her excited.
Yeah, so that looks fun. I like I said, I didn't see anything I didn't like about it. I just get concerned sometimes when it's a
Yeah,
multiplayer
I was
game.
thinking the same thing. I think the pros that it has with it are it looks like a really low budget experience, and
Yeah,
it's probably a thing where they have the content there that you unlock while playing it, and it's not something you unlock to pay for.
yeah,
Um, so they may have a content pipeline if the game does really well, but they're not necessarily banking on that, right?
yeah. It's not like the Fortnite model where it's like, oh, every
Right.
season this will unlock a different vase or something. I don't know,
Right.
like
And I
skins.
remember kind of going off on a tangent a little bit, but I was playing the Towerborn preview last year, and it was doing the live service thing where it wants you to keep playing and unlocking the battle pass stuff, and that gets kind of tiring.
Yeah,
I know that they're changing that for the final release next month, so that's great.
yeah. So I feel like certain games I don't mind the battle pass kind of component, but I just feel like not every game needs to be everything. You know, it's like let
Right.
games be the genre that they want to be.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely. Let them do what they want, but it has to do what works too, and what the player wants. The only game I've ever bought a battle pass in is Marvel Rivals, except for I did buy the one Halo Infinite battle pass, but Marvel Rivals has kind of kept me locked in almost daily since it came out, which is unheard of
yeah. I
for
mean,
me.
some people play games for like years. I don't think I'm trying to think if I ever bought a battle pass. I think I usually just go free on a lot of stuff. Yeah, I can't. Nothing really comes to mind. I think maybe one time, because I play this one game called Clash Royale on my phone. You know, I've been
Okay.
playing that since it came out. I think I one year I bought like the thing for the Halloween one because it was like a pumpkin skin, but that's about it. But
Yeah, those are fun.
yeah, I don't begrudge people. I just to your point, like sometimes they just get boring to me where it's like, well, it's just kind of the same thing, and there's not really a lot of from certain types of games like that where I'm just like, well, once you kind of experience it a couple times, it's not like a lot changes, I guess, if that makes sense, with a lot of
No,
them.
that's
But
that's totally fair. I mean, Marvel Rivals has like one or like two or three different game modes in its quick match. So if you don't really like those game modes, you're not gonna really have much fun with the game, you know?
yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying it so much. That's great. I
Yeah,
feel
my girlfriend and I both played Overwatch when that came out, and it's very similar to that. And we both love Marvel, and we both can play this together. So it's kind of
that's
like a
awesome.
perfect storm, you know?
That's great. I feel like when you can game with your family or your significant other, that's just
Yeah, it's the
what
best.
life's. It's like awesome. Life's going great. So the very final thing we got, which I am assuming is probably one of your top out of the four, but I don't know, maybe you're more on the Forza side. But Fable launching in autumn of 2026. It's coming, to Xbox and PC and PlayStation 5, and it looks like Steam, but no. I wouldn't think this one would come to it, but Switch 2 because of the graphics and everything. So it's Playground Games are making it. So, what were your kind of initial thoughts on it?
I think it looks like they nailed it. It looks like all of the trailers they showed us before
Mhm.
were were what the game was going to be.
Yeah, and
Um,
what was
Go ahead.
crazy? What was crazy is I remember when they released that trailer of kind of like the giant, the guy, from the IT crowd.
Right.
I'm not, sorry, I don't know the actor's name, but that guy. I feel like people were saying, "Well, this game's never this game." It's almost like they didn't think the game was real or something. They thought that wasn't like.
Right.
It was weird discourse around it, and I'm glad we're finally getting a lot more meaty stuff and a release window. So it kind of put some of the. I mean, I don't know. We still got to play the game. I think it'll be good, but I just it was such a weird criticism. It'd be like, this game's never coming out or it's not real. And I'm like, dude, like, let's just give them time, to cook a little bit. And I felt like a lot of the things reminded me of like that experience I had playing on the original Xbox, the Fable games, which I think
Yeah.
that's, really
And
key for the series.
the crazy thing is it's like it's Fable, and it's like it's just Fable, and no other game has been doing what Fable did for the last 15 years.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to
And
think about.
it's sort of I guess it's a huge undertaking. All of these little systems they had to develop from scratch again, with all of the characters and NPCs and the domino effects of how you interact with the characters related to the story in the game and maybe the side quests. It's a huge, clearly a huge undertaking, but it's been done, and we played that game, back on the original Xbox. I'm not, um, and it's just wild that it's taking so long to get that game again, and in open world, high fidelity, uh, you know modern real time game mechanics. Um, it looks insane. I'm kind of just blown away by the whole thing. I'm totally bummed. I have to wait until like September, October. Heaven, like if I have to wait till November to play it, that'd be awful. But
Yeah. Yeah, it just felt so like the original games, and it just the like you said, the graphics, and just I mean, not every game has to be good graphics, but just it looks so amazing. It looks like one of those kind of worlds you just kind of want to walk around in and get lost.
yeah,
And I like the humor that is in Fable games where you don't really get that in a lot of it's either like super serious or just kind of I don't
it's
know.
controversial. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, and I like how it's a real not only kind of like that kind of action RPG elements, but it's also very semi where it's like, oh, you want to become the mayor of the town, or you want to own these things, or sometimes, not everyone likes those kind of things, but I'm like, oh, it's cool that you can do a lot of things in this game, not just, hey,
and it's
go.
totally optional too.
Yeah, so I like that there's so much choice. And I don't know, I'm always chasing like a high I had when play certain games, and I feel like this is a game that's going to really hit for me. That
Yeah.
I'm really excited for to
It
play,
it's
and
gonna be immersion on a level where it doesn't feel like you're immersed in this like real place. It feels like you're immersed in a game world where all of the game systems are totally taking up your time and your thoughts. And there's multiple gameplay loops that you have to consider, that are all totally fun and feed into each other. And I'm just watching it right now and looking at the combat reel, and the combat looks like they played Fable 2 and then they
yeah,
made that today. And Fable 2's combat is one of the best third-person action combat systems ever, still, in my opinion.
yeah,
Um, and just seeing them iterate on that, and these different enemies they have, like this guy taking his head off, and it's a lantern. It's so cool. It's so creative. And this place where they're at, like there's these pirate ships. Man, it's just oozing creativity.
yeah.
And
I like too how they kind of talked about the morality system, which has been featured in a lot of games and, of course, the originals, but just how it's like kind of subjective, where maybe certain characters will agree with what you say or do, others won't. So it's not just always a black and white, like, oh,
right.
this is bad, this is good. There's some gray in there. I also I mean, I guess I don't know if it's a spoiler, but it was in the thing, but it's like, oh, if you do a certain thing to this giant, is there the whole entire game, or if you don't, and that affects like what people think of you and the
Yeah. What do you
town.
think you're gonna do? Do you think you're gonna kill him or you're gonna let him live?
When so it's crazy. So to mention morality. So when I first played like KOTOR, I went dark side, and then I
Okay.
don't know why. When I was younger, right? I think now that I'm older and like have a child, it's very hard for me to play the bad guy. I don't know what it is. I'm just like, oh man, I've become a softie, I guess, because I'm like, it's very hard for me to like, I don't know, do like when you have these moral choices where it's like,
Yeah, you
you
don't
know,
want to upset people.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just like I don't know. I'll probably let him live, but I guess it kind of depends on the situation. Because if he's like some crazy guy, I don't know. So it'll kind of depend. I have a feeling it won't be an easy choice, depending on just what they've presented so far. You
Yeah,
know,
I guess this situation is going to be dependent on how they present it, right? But I'm thinking if we let him live, that means there's this giant like walking around in our game,
yeah,
and
that might
maybe
be
he
bad.
becomes our friend.
Oh
Maybe
yeah,
he'll be
that
our
could be
friend
good.
though. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
maybe he'll be back. Could be destroying houses. I didn't think about that. Uh,
yeah.
but
So it'll be interesting. So it might be something where it's like, oh, you can change it back to normal, or he's your friend, or maybe he's kind of like this walking, almost like quick time, not quick time event, but it's like, oh, you don't know where he is in the world, and then you come upon him and some crazy things happen. I'm not sure. So, but that's kind of the beauty of it and how they presented it, and just the presentation is like, man, it just seems like so much is going on. I feel like you can see, hours and hours into it. And
yeah,
it's
I'm one of the shots in the game that's to me is really it's really subtle but really beautiful is when they're talking about the marriage system. You can have kids, and it shows you in this house with all these kids running around. There's a fireplace, these kids playing with toys. The level of fidelity there is incredible,
yeah,
and the fire lighting and the animation, the kid playing with the horse and these kids running by. You don't really that kind of detail is pretty crazy, especially when it's just something you can do in the game. And I wonder how customizable that whole setup is. Like, how do you the toys get there?
yeah,
Um, you know what I'm talking about? Like, how do you decorate your house in that way? Do you like kind of put in like a kid's playroom, or I don't know,
yeah.
maybe I'm thinking too far into it.
Yeah, well, I mean, they even said, to kind of speak on your point, of like you can follow NPCs an entire day and see like, oh, you can see the blacksmith or you can see whoever, and it's like, they have like a loop, or not. I don't know if loop's the right
Right.
word, but they have these tasks that they do, and I don't know if it changes day to day or if it's the same every day,
It
but it's like,
probably is going to change dependent on what's going on in the world for sure.
yeah, and it's just like that kind of stuff is kind of crazy where some games, there's really good NPC, like, logic, I guess, or just, AI, not AI, but you know what I mean, like their intelligence within the game. But this seems like on a whole nother level, and it seems like you can talk to multiple, like, I think it made it sound like you can talk to like every character in some
Yeah,
way.
every character is fully voiced. There's over 1,000 characters. They all have names and their own personalities
Yeah, it's just
and their own
crazy.
jobs. It reminded me a lot of Elder Scrolls 4,
Yeah.
uh,
I'm drawing a
Oblivion.
blank. Yeah, Oblivion. Yeah.
Oblivion had that sort of similar pitch where it was like all these people are in this world and they're going throughout their day, but this game is different because you can actually interact with these people in a way that it affects their lives. You can date them and marry them. You can hire them for jobs. You can buy their house and rent their house out, and then you can kick them out of their house.
Yeah, it's kind of
And
crazy to the level of detail, and like, and like you said, it's just added, like you don't have to do these things. It's
right.
like I'm assuming a lot of some people are just like, well, I'm just playing it for either the main story or just to the combat or whatever, and then it's like some people are playing it more for the simulation aspect of it, of like, oh, I'm gonna build a town, or what have you, and I'm just like, man,
So so
it's
I'm
crazy.
looking at it now, and they talk about it, but they don't really, it goes so quick. But this guy, he buys the whole town basically, and he gets these labels of tycoon and rich, and he goes to talk to some poor person, and she has labeled him as a rich twat, I think it says. Yeah, rich twat. So she hates him just because he owns everything in the town. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, that's like, it's really cool because it's like you build your infamy or your reputation not just on combat or maybe choices, but actually how your appearance and how and what they know about you. It's like, oh, this person
Yeah.
bought the entire town, or maybe if you own
Maybe
nothing.
maybe if you buy shops and make everything cheap, maybe they'll like you more. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I'm really looking forward to this. I really hope it doesn't get like delayed to like next year or anything. I really hope it comes out this year, but it looks like they put in a lot of work, and I know they've been working
Man,
on it for a
I
long time.
I was I was like, they're showing so much of this game. It has to be coming out soon. It has to be. And then they said, we can't wait to show you more. And I was like, oh no.
That's like code. Sometimes
Yeah.
that's code for like, oh no, I don't know. But overall, what did you think, I guess, of the showcase as a whole? You don't have to necessarily give it a grade or anything. I know some people
Yeah,
do
I,
that.
I thought it was great. They showed less than in previous years, but I think they showed us more of what we wanted to see. Negatives, we only got one release date.
Yeah,
Nothing is coming out until, I guess, Kiln, and then Forza, and then the Xbox show in June. Whereas last year we had, how much did we have come out before the Xbox show? It was an incredible amount of games. Maybe there's something unannounced. There almost has to be unannounced games coming out before June, but I'm kind of worried or confused because we're supposed to have Fable, Gears, and Halo all this year.
I
Are they
don't
all
know.
coming out at the end of the year?
Yeah, that
That
seems.
seems nuts, especially with GTA 6 in November too.
Yeah, that's it, man. Because you don't. I'm sure everyone's scared of November or whenever GTA 6, unless it gets pushed back again, it's almost like that's going to be like a tidal wave for all other games, and
Right.
and it's like you're going to get buried or drowned by that game. So I really hope some of these games have a chance to breathe and not kind of get caught in that storm. Because everyone's going to be playing that it's like if that comes out like in November. Is that when it's supposed to come out, like in November, or has they
November
not?
19th is the current date for GTA 6.
And
I think Halo is coming out November 15th. I think that's set in stone if it's not going to get delayed.
yeah,
Uh, Gears might be like August,
yeah,
and then maybe Fable is like October.
yeah.
I guess
October
those
would be
all
good.
make sense.
October would be
Um,
good. Yeah,
it's just they're still kind of close together. I don't know.
yeah. Okay, so we have the Beast of Reincarnation that's launching in the summer.
That's
Yeah,
summer, so June, July.
yeah,
I
and
could
then
see that getting delayed. I wouldn't be surprised if that got a quiet delay.
yeah, and then yeah, and then spring for the kiln. I can never say it right.
Yeah. So it
Uh,
is a nice spread, I guess. I feel like there's gotta be a handful more games that we just don't know about.
yeah, there has to be, but I don't know. It's gonna be tough. I just hope we don't get a lot just like the last 2 months of the year
You
because
know
it's
what would have
just.
been great? Would have been like a Fable 2 remaster.
Oh yeah, that to let people that it's like launching right now,
Yeah,
like available
that
now.
would have
I
been so cool.
I like when they do like the shadow drops because it just kind of like reinforces like the fan, like you're doing this, and it's just like, oh man, that you're building the goodwill, and it's like let's lead up
Yeah.
to Fable. And
They did the Ninja Gaiden last year.
yeah, I was expecting like one more thing, maybe. I mean, I guess the kiln was kind of like the surprise
Yeah.
thing, but I kind of was expecting like one more. It's not that I was super disappointed, but I was just like, okay, is there anything else? And it was like, thanks. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh man, yeah. I think everyone wants just one more thing sometimes. So
Yeah, you always want more. Yeah.
yeah,
Um, but we're gonna get more. You have to
yeah,
be patient.
yeah. Yeah. So, but overall, I thought it was pretty good. I do have some concerns, like you said, about the release dates, but hopefully, we'll get worked out. Regardless, I know I'm going to play Fable no matter what, even if it releases the same day as GTA.
Oh yeah, that's definitely gonna get played first.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm okay with GTA. It's not really my top favorite game. I know a lot of people, it's like their life, type of thing. But for me, it's
Right.
like I'm sure it'll be really good, but I'm not really like,
I like
oh
GTA, but I'm kind of burned on, especially if this game is gonna be $100, which I don't expect it to be, but if it is gonna be expensive, I will not be paying that
no,
price for it.
no,
But they also closed the studio making Kerbal Space Program just to make this game faster.
really,
And I'm a big fan of Kerbal, so I'm kind of burned on that.
yeah, yeah. That's it's unfortunate when that kind of thing has to happen. I'm sure there's a lot of crunch over there. I'm sure they're putting in so much overtime, and
Oh yeah.
you
Oh
know,
yeah.
I'm sure it's crazy. But Yeah, I think that's kind of about it. Hopefully next time we'll, I don't know when our cadence will be, but hopefully we can maybe just come back and when they have events or if we want to just kind of talk. Like I said, I don't know if there will be a set schedule or anything, but I thought this was pretty enjoyable. I'll make sure to add some things and hopefully make it not too bad. But did you have any other big things you wanted to
No. Oh, this was
say?
nice. I hope my voice isn't too grating.
No,
Uh,
no, no, no. You're fine. I'm using
okay.
my Apple headphones, so hopefully it's not too bad. I have a really nice mic, but it's only it doesn't work like both ways. You know what I mean? It's only for like recording. It's not a mic that can be used for communication like this, if that makes sense. It's
Okay. Yeah, this is the first time I'm using this Xbox headset I got, and it's the first time I'm using it, so I hope
You
it's
sound
okay.
great in my ears, yeah. So,
Okay,
uh,
good.
yeah. So, but this was fun, man.
Yeah, yeah, it was great.
Yeah, so people can find you. I don't know if you want them to, but on Threads, that's where I'm mainly at. So Darth Galat, you can find me there, and then Wolverine 4263, you can find you
I
there.
think it's
So
4262 on Threads.
oh, okay,
I
four
like to
two
make it confusing.
six two. Okay, well, regardless, I'll tag you when I post it. I
There's a
might not.
story there. It's just not. It's actually 4263 on Threads too. Okay, I
Oh,
abandoned the two.
oh, okay, gotcha. Just a real sidebar, real quick tangent before we jump off. Is Wolverine like your favorite mutant or comic book?
So I really like Wolverine. Um, I was a big fan of Wolverine as a little kid. That's not why I'm named Wolverine. When I got my Xbox gamer tag, in 2003 or four, um, I was a big fan of the movie Red Dawn, and
Oh, okay.
uh, so
The
I
Wolverine.
was like,
Yeah,
I'm a
yeah,
Wolverine, yeah, I'm not the Wolverine, and that's why my old Xbox handle was a lowercase W because I didn't want to be like capital anyway.
yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, it's fun though. It's always fun to get the stories behind things. So that's great.
It has a little bit of lore.
Yeah, yeah. Good everyone, join in, and this was fun. It was more of a conversation. I like those more than a real formal type thing. But hopefully next time we'll have better technology. I'm gonna try to do it on my computer next time. It was just tough. I don't know with technology and stuff, so I'm still trying to figure it out. But we'll get there. And I thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you joining.
Yeah,
And
thank you for inviting me.
yeah, yeah, it was a lot of fun. We'll have to do it some more, and hopefully in the future.